What's up, guys? Welcome to the Do Good Movement Show. Our purpose here is to make a positive impact in our society through real-life education. The movement comes into play when you guys share the content to help other people do good just like you. Today, I have a guest on the show, Mr. Eagle Snatcher himself.
You gotta throw that out there.
What the fuck's Eagle Snatcher?
That was a dumb name my friends gave me.
What's it mean?
So you want me to go through that?
I don't know. Maybe we save it for later.
That's a special treat for later.
Yeah. So Eagle Snatcher is actually my big brother. I got to live with this guy and grow up with this guy for my entire life. One of my best friends. And a business partner in our Built Right construction company. So I'm grateful to have you on the show and share the education to all the audience, all the different things that we've been through. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to talk about how to be the baddest motherfucker you could possibly be, basically, through self-development. So Kyle, that's one thing that when I really look back in the past and have seen our lives really change personally, relationships, health, finance, whatever it might be, is all because of self-development. And then I remember I would hear self-development as a kid, or different people would say, hey, you should read this self-development book and all that. And I don't think I got into it early, and I'm not going to speak for you, but I didn't even know what self-development was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So I think we need to start with just walking everybody through what is self-development? What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's kind of an odd topic. The idea of developing yourself, right? I mean, it's at the end of the day, it is developing yourself just like you develop anything else in life.
Like math or science or communications, right?
Exactly. And so it's, to me, it's the pursuit of investing in yourself. And it's never ending, really, because you've never become the perfect version of yourself. There's always a pursuit of that. And so that's why it's exciting, because you've never arrived. And I think for people who have a winning mentality, winning's never attainable. It's there for a second, but then what's the next? So self-development is an unending journey to become the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways you can do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's addicting.
It is.
That, I think that's one thing I just want to caution you guys as you're watching this show right now is what we're about to walk through. And if you guys actually jump into this, it's life-changing for not just yourself, but everybody around you. And just be careful of what you're about to get into, because it is the most addicting thing you could possibly ever do or focus on is developing yourself and see how powerful that is. Yeah,
to the point, just a testimony to that is that, prior to me getting on this journey of becoming better and better and better, I'd spend my free time playing Call of Duty, as lame as that sounds, right? I'd go home and play video games after work, even as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. But guess what? My life was not at the same level as it is now. When you get onto this journey of self-development, you're every single second becomes valuable to be reinvested into yourself. So I'm excited when I have free time, freaking unpick that book back up, and I'm gonna start learning again, or I'm gonna listen to that podcast, because when you realize, when you tap into that, there's just so much more to life, so much more joy,
And it becomes super mental, guys. I think that's the caution that I'm getting into is it's such an amazing journey along the way, but you start becoming so hard on yourself in certain situations, and I'm sure we'll get into it, because what you could actually do now, what you could accomplish with that one skill set you just built in that investment into self-development. There's some of these excuses you guys have just to go home and watch Netflix and not do this or that, even though it makes you feel good. You'll never be able to do that again after listening to the show and what we're about to walk you guys through, because you're going to understand all the other shit you could be doing right then, and you're going to try to come up with this excuse is, oh, I'm tired, I had a long day. But what you learn along the road of self-development is none of that exists, and it all lays with your inner self.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot more of my time now focusing on things that are going to improve my life versus just wasting it away, because your priorities start to shift when you realize what's really important, Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy a movie now and then with my wife, my family.
For sure.
Those things are really important to balance in there. But desire to replace all those worthless things that don't really produce anything kind of goes away when you realize like, hey, I've got the gold here. Like, why would I settle for the trash?
Yeah.
So not pointing you in any direction.
How do you think we got into this?
I'll tell you specifically, actually. I was having a conversation with a couple other people that are in this kind of entrepreneurship and self-development space the other week, and it was crazy. I was telling them that I was literally on Instagram. So a couple of years back, I bought a 2016 GT350. Prior to that, I was just like...
It's like a Mustang, right?
Yeah, it's a Mustang. Right? Yeah, it's Ford Mustangs, for those of you guys aren't car people.
No, it's different, guys. It's different.
Yeah, it's a better version, right?
Yeah.
And so just like anybody, whenever you're looking for a car or something, you kind of just start obsessing about it and like spending all your free time on it. And so I started researching and like I was on Instagram searching hashtags like GT350 because at that time it was a new model. So I was like, cool, like that's my passion and my hobby. Like I'm going to find that car. And so I was like swiping through these tag feeds and I saw this one. I clicked on. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like that's a great picture. And then I started reading the comments and I'm like, I don't know what it was, but I clicked on the person's account and I was like, who's this guy yelling at everybody and like super amped up on life and like
guess Andy Frisella.
Yep. Yeah. And so I was like through cars, right? Like I literally at GT350 hashtag found this guy and I'm like, my brother's kind of like on this track. Like he's all about like this, like pump up, you're already on this track of like wanting to help people. You've always had that heart to help people and to really see them be better. Like that's just God gave you that, which is a blessing, you know? But, I'm like, dude, my brother would appreciate this guy. So I sent you the post from Andy and I was like, check this guy's stuff out. He's like on the same page, you know?
Yeah.
And at that point I was just kind of my normal Kyle, like the old Kyle. And I just didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, whatever. Let's a bunch of like motivational stuff. Like that's cool for them. Send it to my brother. Did you just like went head deep into that stuff and like you started like following Andy pretty deeply? I think at that point.
I spent days. I read every fucking post and comment he had.
Yeah.
Or caption.
Yeah, and that was like back right when he was starting the MFCO project.
Yeah.
I think just getting into their content, you know, like that opened up Rise, and it was really slow. Like I didn't even actually start my self-development stuff. That was like 2016, right?
Yeah.
At the beginning of 2016. I didn't really start that until probably 2018, maybe.
Dude, what it was like. So like why we gravitated to this guy, and I'll speak to myself. So why I did is. Like running the business and starting this thing at a young age, and kind of you go through a lot of shit, as you know, like it's fucking hard. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of good things that come with it, and there's a lot of bad things, and you just go through a lot of these things in your mind, like why is this happening? Why can't I get a good employee to work for me, even though I'll pay all this money? Like there's just all this shit going on. You're asking all these questions and you're curious, is like, hey, is this happening to anybody else? Like all these other businesses, did you guys have to go through this? Because then you look on social media usually and everybody's just living this jolly fucking life.
Yeah.
And, and then this week Kyle comes across Andy, sends this page to me, and this guy's just has a larger business than, we did. And he's just fucking crushing, and he's like speaking the truth. Like all those thoughts like you have in your head when you're going through hard days and stuff, he was able to put like solutions into words that connected with us. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. And I think that's what engaged us with Andy. So that was really our introduction to self-development, because seeing somebody successful and you think, this guy just fucking grinded as hard as he could forever. Yeah, that's one part of it, but there's so much more to grinding to become that level of leader, to become that financially successful. There's so much learning that you have to do within yourself before those things come. Mm-hmm. And before, I believe we were expecting we're expecting to be ourselves and then the world to build around us.
Yeah.
But we had... Self-development has taught us, and it's so fucking true because our life has changed, is we need to build ourselves, and then the world will come around us. Because then we're going to be able to influence that and build ourselves to make the result that we want to make.
Yeah. And on that thought, it's the way that I believe God destined the way that things work in nature is like you're never going to receive something you're not ready to receive. Yeah. So 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you were not ready to receive what you have today.
Absolutely not.
It would have gone to waste, or you just would have ruined it. Like same thing for me. Like if I would have been given the business that we're at right now 7 years ago, like 1 year into it,
Yeah.
I would have ruined it.
Yeah.
And so like even just like if I was given a wife when I was 17, I probably would have ruined it too. So like
sure.
like being able to like we have to self-develop in order to receive whatever the future has for us. So
yeah, and so self-developing is basically having the ability and the want to go make yourself better than who you are today in every aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what it is. And so that question I asked you, I remember where like I was like, hey man, I'm ready to do something different than where I am today. Like I'm ready to just fucking like change my life completely on how I used to work and operate and be and feel and all that stuff. And we were sitting at Jin Sushi having, an all-you-can-eat sushi lunch.
Yep.
And there's healthy options and there's unhealthy options. And, Kyle and I just started like just talking about exercise and all that stuff. And we exercised, but we were never in like good shape. Like we had some mass, but we were chunky. We weren't defined, all that stuff. And then you go in, how fucking lame is that? You tell people you go exercise. Obviously, they're not saying it, but looking at us back in the day, definitely didn't fucking look like we exercised. And then we looked like a bunch of fuck-offs, right? So when it's just like, yeah, we run a business too. Well, your business probably looks just like your exercise. So Kyle and I were sitting there talking about it, like, man, like, why aren't we taking this serious? Like, why are we're saying we're going to work out every day, and then we work out 4 days a week? You remember that conversation?
Yeah, I specifically remember it. Sitting at Jin Sushi on like the side where the door's at in the little booth.
Yeah,
and you're
booth
like,
two.
Yeah, you're like, what if we just decided to work out every single day? And I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. I'm not doing that.
And we chose, it was 90 days, right? And this is the first time we ever like signed ourselves up for something and to hold ourselves committed to. I mean, you probably have some other stuff, but I don't know, for me,
like a
like,
life,
yeah,
you have
I mean,
a life
like
too. We gotta be
some of
committed
those
there.
like moral things, but like when it comes to like self, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like self-encompassing, it was like let's hold each other accountable and let's work out 90 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? And like we've never done that in our life.
I don't remember the 90-day commitment. I do remember us having that conversation, but I'm sure it happened.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening is like that was part of self-development, is like learning. We made a commitment, and to be able to self-develop and actually work, you have to stay true to that commitment. So I remember we're like not even done with 30 days into working out, and we're like, holy shit, dude, we've like done 2 weeks straight, 3 weeks straight. We haven't taken a break. Because back then it was like Saturday and Sunday. It's just like, I don't want to fucking work Saturday and Sunday. It's Saturday and Sunday. Why am I going to work out? Like, this is my day to be comfortable me. Mm-hmm. I don't want to deal with the hard shit. I'm going to go back to like bare bottom, easy Dylan on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then we went through, we have a responsibility now on the weekend. We got to get up. We have to exercise. No matter if I went and drank the night before, did this and did that. Yeah. And then we were doing it and we felt so good and we're like, fuck, let's do longer. And then we had this one conversation working out and we're like,
we're never stopping.
Yeah,
this is like brushing my teeth every morning. It's like, it's part of the routine,
Yeah.
Like so much so that even my family knows, like, Dad's working out today at some point. Like
it's like going to work. It's like, hey, honey, I gotta go work. Everybody knows why we have to go to work, go pay the bills. You say, hey, I'm going to go exercise. It sounds like the same conversation. It's a non-negotiable.
It's like, hey, I'm going to go to sleep today because I need rest to go to wake up tomorrow. It's just part of the daily routine.
Yeah. Guys, this is all going to connect for you in a second because they're probably like, what the fuck? These guys are just talking about how they got into working out. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Like when self-development becomes super dangerous, guys, is we just proven to our, like, exercise is fucking hard mentally and physically. Like, it sucks. No matter which way you look at it, it just sucks. Why can't we all just look sexy and feel good all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So we were able to accomplish this piece, and then we would, like I said earlier, we're making excuses on why we weren't able to, we were missing a day because of this. Well, we got rid of those excuses in our fitness side of our life. So then you go back to business, then you go to a relationship, and right when that excuse hits, we've already fucking just changed ourselves. We added and changed our identity right there on exercise. So there's nothing that's going to interrupt that. Sick, all that other shit. Like, we were sick many times going through this.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else, there's something else in life where we had the opportunity to make an excuse. We had the opportunity to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And our goal is what? Our goal is to be, as I said, reach our maximum potential, but I actually said be the baddest motherfuckers possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, see who we could be.
Yeah.
And then it's just like ding, 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 and just started ticking into everything.
Yeah. So like something I've picked up from others that have said this is like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And so like the working out's just one area of life. Some of us master in certain areas of our life before others do. So for example, like I might have the working out, Dylan, I might have the working out routine locked in, but maybe there's other areas of our lives where we're just not there yet.
Yeah, good point.
And so we have to learn, the self-development, it transcends categories of different areas of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pursuit of becoming the best version of yourself in every area of your life. You don't have to master all of that in one shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it can be overwhelming if you're like, wow, like this guy, you can start comparing yourself like this guy's here, this guy's here, this guy's here. Well, get around people that are at a little bit a higher level than you are in certain areas and just start learning from them. You just start somewhere. You don't have to be the best today, but you have to be committed to becoming the best version of yourself today.
Yep.
And know that you're not going to get there overnight. Because another thing that I've learned as well is that perfection is the enemy of progress. If we think I have to get this part of my life right before I proceed to start taking actions at becoming the best or start doing this one thing, you're never going to start. Mm-hmm. And so we have to be okay with having a mess and just getting after it and learning through the mess.
That's right. And guys, how cool would this be? Like, let me ask you a question right now, and I want you really to think about this. Like, if you said, hey, I'm going to go do this, and you actually did that every single time you said that without ever having to think about it. There's no effort there. I'm going to go build a $10 million business. I'm going to go get married to the best person in the world. I'm going to go start a family. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go buy this car. I'm going to go change this person's life today. I'm going to go exercise for 5 years straight. I'm going to go run a marathon, right? Whatever it might be. Imagine being able to go say, this is what I'm going to go do, and there's no, like, it's not even hard. You just go and do it. Like, that's the cool thing about self-development, because when you unlock one thing, it teaches you that you can now unlock everything else. Mm-hmm. Right?
Exactly. So like you master, I guess what it comes down to is like building the characteristics that create winning in your life, right? So like create good habits that serve you. Find out the tools you need to win and to succeed in every area. And it's not just segmented off to different parts of life. It's not segmented off to just business, being a father, being a husband, being a good athlete or whatever that is. It has to do with the building blocks, your characteristics, and what your core values are as a human being, and what you believe your purpose is. And so if you believe your purpose is to become the best human being there is, version of yourself, because I'm different than you. My perfection looks different than your perfection.
That's right.
We'll never reach perfection in this life, but we can be in pursuit of that and always be doing better, doing good, right? Yeah. For ourselves, for others around us, and society in general. This world needs more people in pursuit of becoming the best version of themselves. Yeah. The reason we're at where we're at today in society is because people have lost touch with that.
And Kyle, everybody wants to be the best person of themselves. I think they just don't know how to get there. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think anybody wakes up and says, like, I want to be pissed off today, I want to be sad today. Like, everybody wants to feel fucking good. But I think the problem is the same problem that we had before we got into this is we were just thinking it was going to show up at the door versus you have to go and change different, like you said, not everything, but a tweak here. Focus on one section, perfect it, understand how to do it, don't quit it, go to the next one, and then you keep doing it, and then that's how you end up being that person you want to be.
Yeah.
Like I hear everybody talk to you, they're like, oh man, not everybody, but some people, you're so lucky, you're so successful, like you're living the dream life. I want to be just like that. Cool, motherfucker, you could be just like that. Here's the steps.
Yeah, they could be better.
Yeah, go 100%. You got to change yourself. Change isn't just going to happen for you. You have to go change yourself, and to change yourself, you have to do it through self-development. And you have to fucking want it so bad, or else you're not going to get through the first milestone. Like, imagine if we didn't stay committed, that it went forever, right? We haven't stopped exercising. But imagine if that first 90 days we said, hey, we're going to exercise for 90 days straight. Imagine if we broke that.
We'd still be back at square one.
We'd be at fucking square one. And that's the problem, is some people, they just feel this like pain. And I'm not, you guys, if you're that person, I'm not talking shit on you. I was that same fucking person a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
dude,
still,
in certain areas we still are.
That's right.
Like, there's
100%.
Just because we got to figure it out one spot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, there's some other areas that really need some fixing still. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck. Thanks, man.
You got to stay humble. You can't grow without being humble, right?
That's true. So we're in that spot in certain pieces of our life, right? And you guys might be there as well, but you have to stay committed to something and just be able to see it and make it all the way through. Then you go back and reflect and said, I fucking did that. And then so the next thing, you're like, I just need to take that same focus, that same energy, that I need to make it as serious as that one thing I accomplished over here, and then you'll be able to do it again. And it's just like check, 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 check.
Yeah, it's building momentum, right? You're stringing together little wins. And so you have to do that every like, that's good. Like, for me, it's like, I have to be self-aware. Like, if we're in the trench at all times and we never take our head up to see how far we've gone, you're pretty miserable. Like, I don't really say go that direction either. Don't grind yourself to the bone until you wake up one day, you're 90 years old, and you're like, I didn't enjoy a single thing. What happened?
Yeah.
You know? So, like, we have to, part of, like, I think the goal is to be able to pull yourself out of that trench a little bit.
So that's the next step, though, right? That's the next step of self-development.
Yeah, for me, like, that's where I'm at. I was like, I get easy to get into the groove and just start executing and getting a lot of stuff done. But then it's like, we were just talking about it the other night. It's like, was the results we're getting while we're just grinding it out actually the results we want?
Yeah.
You know, where am I projected to be going right now? Is that the direction that I intended to go, or am I just going at it to go at it? So,
that's a good point. Yeah, that's honestly the thing I'm working on as well. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm fucking addicted to the grind.
Yeah.
Like, bad. Like, I love it, you know? And I was in
it. It's not a bad thing to be addicted to.
No, it's not. And so here's the thing, guys. Like, I'll tell you guys a short story. So I was in an interview recently, and I always get asked, like, when I'm interviewing some of the, you know, the big dogs wanted to join the business. They're, you know, they've worked for some massive companies, and the biggest concern is a company selling, or the, you know, the CEO leaving, whatever, because fucking everything could change. And so that's a big question, is like, look, what's your exit plan? What's this looking like? All that other stuff. And I'm like, I don't have an exit plan. Like, I love this shit. You know, you asked me that a long time ago, I probably had one, but I love what I do. And it's not even the dollars. It's just being able to work with the people and all that. And then they start, you know, so I don't fucking get deep in everything, but so I'm just in this interview and I'm getting deep, and we're talking about life, and okay, you know, we have a family and all that, but you're out grinding. Like, if it's not finances, like, what the fuck are you even grinding for? Mm-hmm. Like, that was a question I had to answer for myself. Like, why are you pushing yourself so? Like, self-development's not easy. It's the same stuff. Like, why are you grinding so much? Like, where are you trying to get? And I said, look, like, this is why I love the grind. If it wasn't for this fucking business and every hard day I had, you and I wouldn't have started self-development. Mm-hmm. What pushed us to get into self-development is because we weren't happy with something in our life, and a lot of that stemmed from the business. There's somebody we met, whatever, like we were in business, got a car. You got a car because you're in business. You bought a car to want to feel better, probably because you're going through a shitty time in business.
The cars don't really make you feel better. They
100%.
do for like tiny bit of time, and then you're like.
But it introduced you to Andy that helped change a lot of this stuff for our life, right?
Yeah.
So I was telling this guy in the interview, I said, look, this is why I'm in the grind, and like this is why I never want to get out. The grind has changed my life for me to be a hell of a lot better person than I could ever imagine myself to be. I'm not close to where I want to go, but I'm a lot fucking better than where I was when I was a younger person. Like my mentality, all that stuff. I'm able to have better conversations with my wife. I could have better conversations with my friends. I'm a better dad. And if I wasn't here in the grind, if I just checked out with all this cash and went to the sidelines, nothing is pushing me to have to focus even harder and have to develop harder in myself to go learn new things. And those new things that I learn in work transpires into my personal life as well. And now my personal life, now I could do things like this, guys, and spread different content to go help you guys out to hopefully go change your life. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if I stopped the grind, if I stopped working and just made mailbox money or whatever, then I lose a lot of the stuff that I gained, but then I'm fucking comfortable. Like, I'm in this comfort zone where I do whatever I want for the rest of my life. When you come to work and for the business to work, you can't have an ego, you can't have comfort, because everybody's else's life, is dependent on your decisions. And so I get put in an uncomfortable fucking spot, even, doing super well, I still get put in a spot. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm up against the wall right now, and I'm up against the wall because I need to make this go through for all of our people, everybody who came into this, who believes in this. And so then when you're up against the wall, that's when you're like, fuck, trying to get out of it. And then that's when you're learning is like when you're getting out of this thing, right? And then you're like, holy shit, that was crazy. And then you're able to bring that home and then go, help other people who are going through that. All this stuff. In business, it's people. In personal life, it's people. And so I'm getting to really learn how to work with people, and it continues to grow.
Yeah.
I don't even know how the fuck I got into all that, but
no, it's good. I think we're onto something here, because when you get into those hard situations, like I was just thinking, I was smiling. So like I was thinking back, like, dude, if you faced some of the crap that you deal with this last year, and in year like 1 or 2 of being in business, your head would have blown off.
That's right.
And so like, and just even on a small scale, even if personal relationships with people. The first time you ever had something bad happen in a relationship, it was your world. But then you go through that, right? You go through a hardship. It could be anything. It could be a relationship with a boss at work. That sounds bad, but it could be like a working relationship, like something didn't go right with your employer, and you got laid off and you lost your job.
The first time you lose your job, you're probably fucking freaking.
Yes, and you're like, what am I going to do? As my first one, I don't know how to get another one.
Yeah.
Same thing with like going through anything difficult we've ever gone through. There's 2 ways to go through difficult situations. There's one to play the victim, and there's the other one to where you learn to lose and you learn how to rebuild off of hardship. You say, okay, well, that sucked a lot. What do I learn from that situation? And I think a lot of us are there. We realize like it sucks to feel bad and just feel bad because life happened to you.
Yeah.
But we have to learn how to pull ourselves out and then say, okay. And Ed Milet says all the time, but he says, things happen for us, not to us. That's right. So I hold on to that a lot too. Is like, hey, like this thing I'm dealing with in business, or this thing I'm dealing with at home.
It's a learning example,
this person who I know passed away. It's freaking tough, But guess what? I become a better version of myself through trials.
That's right.
And so we have to always keep that mentality, is that those hardships are going to turn you into the person you're meant to be for the future. If you never go through hardships, I think you posted something the other day, but if you didn't have bad times, how would you know what the good times are? Actually, that's probably this morning, but
yeah,
you have to, and you have to embrace them, because like now you go through hardship, you're like, hell yeah, here's the next hardship.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn and become a beast out of this one.
And so like all the stuff you're hearing us talk about, guys, to get to that point mentally is through having to self-develop and learn how people, like, hey, you guys have met people that are like super mentally strong and all this stuff. Like, how the fuck did you end up there, right? You're not just born that way, guys. You get a choice, as Kyle is saying. You get to go through the victim mentality, or you're gonna say, I gotta like figure this out. I gotta solve that, and you do it through self-development. So I guess here's the question that we should probably get into is, how do you self-develop? Like, we talked about different examples and all that stuff, but like, where to even start? So they would say the audience today, they're listening, they're like, okay, this sounds cool, man. Like, I want to do this.
Yeah, we're fired up if you can't tell. Like, this is our favorite subject. I can talk for freaking days on this subject, by the way.
So like I'm hoping, I feel that, but like, hey, I want to do this. Like, how do I do this? Like, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to be different than who I am. I want to do this, and this. Like, let's fucking go, you know? How do you start?
I think the main thing for me, just out of experience, is that I can never grow or become better unless I believe that I deserve to become better. Belief is everything for me. Like, before I started this journey to become on self-development, like that's whatever you call this, right? Just becoming better, right? You know, I didn't believe I deserved success. I didn't believe that I deserved a business that was successful. I didn't believe I deserved a life that was, you know, monetary success, personal relationship success. Like, I think the world and the way the world like kind of collapses in on people nowadays that we let it do that to say like, hey, you know, that's for other people.
Right.
And I think that's the enemy really talking to us is like, that good thing over there, that's not really for you. That's just for that guy, and that guy, especially the ones you see on Instagram that are posting it, which probably don't really have it and they're on their last dollar.
For sure.
You know, so just it starts with belief that you can actually become a better version of yourself, whether you're in the rock bottom or whether you're right in the middle somewhere.
The belief and the want, right?
Yeah, you have to have the desire to become better.
Yeah.
But you will never have the desire to become better if you don't believe that you can actually obtain it.
Mm-hmm. And you guys can all become better. No matter whoever fucking told you something different, that is complete bullshit. Like, I guess where to start with that is go listen to all the stories around. You can probably find them on social media. There's thousands of books, and you'll see people who, I'll give one right now. Go David Goggins. Go read David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. You want to talk about a fucked up deck of hands and somebody who just turned into the baddest motherfucker, I think, known in America today? David Goggins. Go read that book. If you said, hey, somebody told me I can't do this, all this stuff happened in my life, this is how I was raised, this is who I have to be, my parents worked this job forever, so I got to go work that same job. This is all I know. If you are listening to this podcast today and that is you guys, the one recommendation I'll give you to go start is go read David Goggins' book. And you're going to say, holy shit, that guy did it. I could go do something like that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, this story's insane.
For sure. And so, like, how do we start self-developing? Like, how to start, I'll answer the best I can, is a book. Like, my first book was a big one for me. Mm-hmm. Like, Ed Milet has a good book. You guys go read that one as well. It's called Max Out. I tried to develop in my early years just by trying stuff I know. Well, trying stuff that I know is only going to get me to where I am today, right? And so if I've never read a book in my life, and so when somebody said, hey, you should read this book, I looked at them, I don't fucking read books. Like, I look like a nerd, you know? Like, what are you talking about? I don't have time for that. But it's just like, I didn't really understand the whole book thing. And then really the whole book thing, guys, in a summary, is somebody who had this life experience that's life-changing, has spent there's probably 20 years of knowledge plus a ton of time putting this book together of education that you guys could learn, and there's so much that you could take away from it. It's like, it's what I like to say is these self-development books are the cheat codes of life. Like, it's like fucked up that it's even out there. Like, I'm surprised everybody's not Jeff Bezos right now.
Yeah.
There's that much knowledge. It's like, you literally read this stuff, you go implement it. Holy shit, my life's changed. I got a better relationship. I'm making more money. Boom, boom, boom. All that information's out there.
Yeah. I want to point out one really important part of that is you said implement. Like, you have to go into these books with intent to implement what you learn. Don't be like a data file transfer of the book information and just sit on the shelf. You know, like, there's a reason you're spending time reading those books is to go execute. I'm talking to myself too, because I've been like, it's easy to just start reading and like, da, 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 da. All right, checked, got that done today. Right. But the reality is like, dude, if I'm gonna spend the time here, just like anything in life, why don't I make the most of it? Yeah, like, and so like, go into something with the right intent and wanting to pull information out that you can go apply.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge one, is just applying it, because you can't go anywhere without applying it.
You have to apply it. And there's just guys, don't say you want to go do something anymore. Like you want to be something and I couldn't do it. This happened, that happened. No, you just didn't apply yourself into the preparation to get to that point. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
If you don't have what you want today, it's because you just have not done the work and spent enough time there to achieve it yet.
Yeah.
So and I guess for me, for you, like if there's something that's ahead of us right now, it's like we still got work to do.
Oh, it doesn't, like I said earlier, it doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. That road goes on forever and ever, because then you're going to come against something else. Oh, I need to go learn how to do that. Where can I find the information? And then you just go ahead and implement it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like the golden key, guys. If you guys listen to this, if you guys could go and start focusing on self-development, like you got the golden key to life. There's no excuses anymore. There's no complaining, and it's just all go like win, 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 win. As we talked about earlier, you're not born with this mindset. You're not born with that ambition. You have to be to a place where you want to change your life. You want to be better than you are today. And that's a great fucking spot to be in, because congratulations, you just made it. Once you go and check off your first box, it keeps on going.
Yeah.
What else we got?
So, I mean, books are great, but maybe you're not there on that level yet where you want to spend time reading. Podcasts are freaking fantastic. Obviously, you're listening to one right now, but there's so many podcasts out there. And honestly, like the ones that did it for me and for Dylan, we started with the MFCO project, which is now Real AF, with Andy Frisella, and Milet's podcast, Max Out. All those, I mean, I just got addicted to those that's the only ones I still really listen to.
Same. Amazing.
There's just so much content out there. I don't even have enough time to keep up with half of them. Like I try to even listen to the Do Good Movement. I'm like, dude, I'm a couple episodes behind. Like, when do I find time? Because there's just so much content out there.
Yeah.
So just jamming my brain full of this stuff at all times. So, you can listen to that. It's free. Like you can get on YouTube and find a bunch of that as well. But I think podcasts are good because you can be going on like exercising. You could be on a long drive. Not everybody's a podcast person either. Like my wife doesn't click with podcasts. She doesn't want to just listen to someone else talk. She'd rather read or watch a video, And so whatever way you guys understand that you can engage with content, go start there, because that's going to be the best way for you to learn. It's like some people learn by books, some people learn by in person. So
you guys gotta learn to be more. Like if you want to be more than where you are today, it starts with learning. Like I said, this is my third time saying that in the show. It's not just going to happen to you guys. You guys you have to learn how to be your best self. There's a formula behind it. There's a science behind it, and that all has to do with self-development. And fuck, guys, I want it for you guys so bad. It's literally changed my entire life, and now I'm able to change lives around me. And you guys could do this for your life and everybody around you. And that's what this whole movement here is about. And honestly, I'm looking for some more fucking friends with that same mindset. There's probably 0.001% of people.
Yeah, it's funny too, because like when you talk to people that are into it, it's like we were talking about the other day. It's like, what do we freaking call this? It's like a weird feeling you get when it's like you get a tingle, It's like
our brother-in-law at dinner the other night. We were just sitting there. You could sit there and fucking talk forever because it's so interesting and so fun. Like there's substance to the conversations. Then how was your week? What are you doing this weekend? Or let's just get drunk and then smile and laugh because we're fucking delusional. Mm-hmm. Like you're actually just so engaged, and it's so fun.
It is, yeah, and it's like you can have meaningful conversations that are going to improve one another when you're having them, and so like I don't know. It's not like I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's an awesome thing when you find someone else who is on that journey. And we have a handful, thankfully we're blessed with a lot of good employees and good people, not just employees but friends and family members and just acquaintances, like other people that we know that are on that journey.
That are into it. And it's contagious.
Yeah, well, it's the thing is like people who are wanting to do better in the world, they group together. It's like cohesion effect. Like they're drawn to one another. Because that's with anything. Like if you're associated with bad people and you're into bad things, you're going to find bad people to do bad things with.
Yeah.
If you're into good things and good people, you're going to find good people.
That's right.
And so I guess another one of the things is like, how do you start that self-development journey is find someone who's somewhere where you're not and where you admire them. Don't ever hate on people either. That's a big one. Never talk negatively about people, Because most of the time when we have those thoughts, it's because we're envious of that. And you're never going to get what you're talking trash on at the end of the day. If you're negative and you're putting negativity out, you're never going to get positive back. Since when does putting negative out equal positivity somewhere else, right?
That's right.
So I guess just to tie back to what I was trying to say is that get around people who are going to positively influence you. If you realize your crowd, the people you're around, are not a good influence to you, and you end up in places you don't like ending up, disassociate.
That's right. And partner with somebody, you guys. Just how what Kyle and I did, like our first developing thing that we did for ourselves, we partnered on let's exercise for 90 days. And then we got so into, we didn't want to go back, guys. We didn't want to start over. Like, hey, like we're making a promise, and it's like staying true and working. Fucking continue. Like we're 1,000-something days in exercise, right?
Yep.
And
I have a story on my Instagram feed that's just, I changed to max out. It was 75 hard, but then when I was off of it, I was like, max out, I guess, you know? But it's like my fitness journey. And it's so funny because I watched it the other day and I'm like, I was like posting every other day, like day 6.
Hold on. Guys, don't put the @ Eagle Snatcher on Instagram. I don't know where the fuck that's going to take you. It's not his Instagram name.
Yeah, that's definitely not it. I've never actually checked that one out. I'm going to start it. You guys can start searching that. You'll find some cool stuff.
Weird shit on Eagle Snatch, man.
Well, if it's there, I don't know anything about it.
So if we're talking about his social media, so you go look for him, just do not type in Eagle Snatch.
Yeah, it's Georgian.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I interrupted you. So you have these...
Yeah, so you know, like the little section at the top where you can put the highlight reels, right?
Yeah.
So I had, you know, when we started working out, and I was like, it really is my self-development journey. I maxed that thing out because there's no more space on it. I probably should start like 4 more. But you just get to a point, I was like, every other day we were posting like day 6 in a row, day 12 in a row, day 20 in a row, and it was like 40, 60, 107, 200, 360. Like you just start getting farther because like it just becomes yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're proud of what you're doing. But
and then what else can you do that in other things in your life, right? You're like, dude, I just did this, but now what else?
Yeah, and that one thing's really told me is like, we have to find habits that serve us.
That's right.
What habits, like, and what things can you repeat or just make part of your daily routine that's going to create a result over a long, long period of time that's going to get you to a place you want to be, where you're happy.
Yep.
You know, don't do things that are going to get you to a place where you're not really happy with yourself. Like, don't do it just because other people are doing it or you think that's what you want. Like, spend some time figuring out what you really want in life. Figure out what things you need to develop in yourself and what habits you need to come up with that's going to get you the result. It's a very simple equation. Actions equal results, and results equal, what your life looks like at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's so important, guys, because you have to, how do I tie this in a bow? You want to grow. You want to see your relationships grow. Like you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody today who's just going to be that same person every single day eating this. Like it's like eating the same thing every day, right? Like you want to see like the experiences grow, the conversations grow, in every relationship, in your job, whatever it might be. Well, that doesn't just happen, guys, unless you're open to developing to get to the next level. And it might be your spouse that helps you, or it might be you that are to help your spouse, right? And so, like, I'm going to get into work on this piece, is we're a growing, very fast-growing business, right? So when I'm doing an interview for a leader that wants to come work for our company, well, what do you think the questions I'm going to ask this leader? What are the first questions I'm going to ask the person? We're a growing business. You're going to be growing a team. The team that you've managed before was 10 people. The team that you're probably going to manage eventually is going to be 40 people. So for me to know if I'm bringing in the right leader or not, all my questions are going to be around what is that person to do to invest into their self, to learn more in their self. So when I start asking questions on, hey, what have you learned this year? Right? What do you struggle with? I always ask that because you'll see, right? Everybody struggles with something. Okay, you're struggling with that. What are you doing about it?
Yeah, that will tell you if they're humble or not, and if they're willing to learn and change.
If they're willing to learn and change. So you start asking all this stuff, like, how do you learn new? What are you a part of? Like, all this different stuff. And so I ask all these interpersonal questions to see if they have it in them to get from leading a team of 10 people up to 40 people, because we're growing so fast, I'm not going to have the time to invest into that leader and teach them they have to be so hungry to want to be the leader to get there, not just saying it, but their personal actions of what they're doing to personally grow are going to relate to that growth chart. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's helped me big time grow my business. So the same thing for myself is I want to, the goal is now to get our business to a $10 billion company in a very short amount of time. I'm the CEO of the business. Well, I'm going to get in the fucking way of this company if I don't continue to develop myself, because 28 years old, the size we are today, if I'm not doing any more to be better in every single piece of how my life works, the company's going to surpass me and it's going to fold because I don't know how to go lead and build a business or get the fuck out of the way, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And so I'm just constantly learning. And then same thing in my relationship with my wife is I'm trying to be like, I want to make sure she's excited and happy through this whole thing. So I'm trying to learn all these different things on how do I become a better husband? How do I become a better dad? How do I put more focus there? Like, how do I become more affectionate? Like all these different things to make sure I feel that. When the real me is just like, oh, I'm at home, I want to be comfortable, like whatever it is. Well, the flip side of that, my spouse might not like that, right? So to keep that, exciting like that, I have to grow. Like our relationship has to grow. Just like for you to be excited in life, you want your paycheck to grow so you're able to experience more things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's relevant in pretty much every area of life. That you want to grow something, you have to become better and you have to do more,
Yep. I agree. Is there anything else you want to add in here?
There's a lot of stuff. I was like a ton of different content and whatnot, but hopefully you guys are encouraged to want to become better. I mean, that's the only reason you're probably even listening to this right now is because something sparked and you're drawn to it, which means you probably have that little itch to become better yourself and to make an impact on other people's lives. And that's all we're here to do. At the end of the day, what's the most fulfilling thing you can do in life? It's by serving and helping other people. That's it. Right. No matter what, the more we take for ourselves, the more empty you usually feel. Mm-hmm. But if we can realign our purpose with serving other people and giving back and making and doing and contributing to something that's bigger than us, that's just a natural thing as humans that we need.
That's right.
And so I would just challenge you guys to go find that. Go figure out what makes you happy. But I guarantee you helping someone else and giving to things that are not of yourself is going to make you the most happy.
Yep. Agreed. And that's what this whole show is about, guys. We're giving back to you. Want to see you do good, and I really think that this is the show that everybody needs to listen to first for probably the rest of the shows to make sense, because they're going to be a good one, so if you guys are on this, watch this one first and then get to the other ones. But that's what we have for you guys. Thank you, Kyle, for coming in and doing this with me.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to have you on forever.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I love being able to do this with you guys, and then thanks for making this podcast, man. This room's amazing, and it's just a true testament to your heart, dude. And
Thank you.
We're excited. I'm excited to see how it grows,
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be fun. All right, man. Love you. I love you guys. Let's do good, all right?